Hey.
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 So, I've been trying to figure out how I'm gonna start this speech since I'm, telling about my personal journey that I've been on. For the last couple of years, 6 years, I've been on a spiritual journey, trying to figure out who am I, what I want to do with my life, where am I going. And for as long as I can remember, I have always wanted to know those answers, even from when I was like 7 years old. Um, those questions pretty much started from a repeated dream that I always had as a child. And to this day, I still remember this unusual dream that occurred in and out of my life since I was a kid. So, in this dream, I always appeared in the middle of nowhere, lost in time and space, and everything was like still in this dream. And I just remember my heart beating, pounding. And I'm like, where am I? Like, what's going on? The dream was so vivid. Behind me, there was a full moon standing so high in the sky, but it illuminated like this path in front of me. And on this path, there were footprints, meaning that somebody had been here before me. And I was just unsure if I should walk on this path. Up ahead in the far distance was a dark, uninviting wilderness, scary, with like tall trees and intimidating branches, and I wanted to go anywhere but there. Next, it was a gleaming star that appeared in the sky. I mean, it looked like a diamond, and this star just kept me there for 5 minutes, but I felt like I was at peace looking at the star. And a weird voice just came out of nowhere and said, "Go north." And I woke up confused, and I'm like, what is this dream telling me? And I never shared that with anyone but my mom, so you guys kind of, you guys know now. And after this dream, I wanted to know, what was this path telling me that I kind of stumbled upon? What did this mean? In my personal life, my path started much differently from my brother and sister. They went to pre-K, kindergarten, and every day I would be dropped off at my great-grandmother's house. I'm not sure why I was kept out of those early years, but every day was a day at grandmother's house. And it was the best time of my life, and it holds true to my heart to this day. I just remember being in a world, a mystical world with my grandmother. Every day we spent time outside, walking in big fields of sunflowers, paying attention to like bees and everything outside of the human experience. And it was a metaphysical world, but it was so real. And while other kids were in school learning their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, I was learning how staring at a tree could teach you how to be yourself. She was just sitting in front of a tree and say, "What do you see?" A tree, But then she would say, really pay attention to a tree, like really look at a tree. And if you happen to go outside, just stare at a tree. You will notice that trees are tall, they're strong, and they change with the seasons. And looking at that tree, it pretty much just taught me to be confident in myself. Stand tall, go with the flow of life. Like right now we're in fall, and as you can see, the leaves are just falling, but that tree is still there, standing tall and confident. And those were the times where I was really in like another universe, another world. And I remember the last conversation before I started school, because now I'm 6 years old, and my mom kept telling me, soon you're going to start school, soon you're going to start school. I had no idea what school was. Being with my grandmother was my school. And the last conversation we had before I started school, we were sitting on her porch, and she was tying together these little wood pieces, just tying them together, and I'm staring at her, unaware of what she's making. And when she got finished with the last one, it ended up being like somewhat of a crown. And one by one, she took these bright yellow flowers and placed them around this object that she created. And then she said, "Boy, come here." And I walk over to her, and she's starting to put this crown in the air. And then she says, "We're all just a bunch of broken people walking around with broken crowns, looking to be glued and stitched back together again." And she places the crown on my head and said, "Never forget who you are." And that lived with me for a very long time. I did not understand what that message was. And then the dream came again. I had this unusual dream again, and here I am in front of this path, and the moon and the star appeared, and the voice again, "Go north." And then I started hearing like drums beating. And they were coming from the forest. And I was afraid. I was afraid to move forward, but somehow my feet just started moving. And on this path, I didn't know where I was going, but I was just heading there. And I felt that this world that I was in was coming to an end, and I'll begin first grade. Now, with first grade, it was such a confusing world that I was in because everything was so organized, so structured. There were single file lines in the restroom, and no talking in the classrooms. And my worst was I had to color inside the line. Like, I was such a creative being where I wanted to color outside the line all the time. And I remember being called on the intercom one day to come to the principal's office.